So all that energy out there in space, behind and around galaxies and stars, is what people on Earth used to call dark matter because it appears dark to them. They know it's energy, and they know now that it is not dark matter. They don't really know what it is, except they know it's there supporting all things material, atoms and molecules and suns and explosions on suns, and all that's made of nuclear energy, atoms, and all that kind of thing. The energy that supports the universe that we are also made of as individual beings is not nuclear, it is not atomic, it does not observe the laws of physics. It is an energy that is part of the omnipresent living conscious energy of behind the entire universe. And we are comprised of exactly that same energy. It's indestructible. It cannot be broken down or harmed because it's not part of the physical universe. What we are has never been part of the physical universe. Bodies, yes. DNA, sure. Atoms, sure. But us, no. So this is the first thing that people need to wake up. And this is telepathic, so it's being woken up in you more when I speak it. It's coming from the source through masterful beings, through me, to you on Earth, past you, to those three pyramids, and it's charging Earth's atmosphere even now as we go on these journeys. It is the law of economy. The greatest use of energy in the least effortful way for the greatest outcome is what the law of economy really is. So we imagine someone we respect and love, we're grateful they are in our lives. It just makes you smile inside, pleasant, whatever it is. Then we send out the hue 5 times to begin the journey. Now what we're doing when we do this, we're actually giving permission to the source energy, to source and to master teachers, Satnam, Torelli, and all these guys, and these girls. Katadaki's been on these journeys occasionally, a female master teacher. There are many of them. Most of them do other work and they aren't on these journeys. But some of them are. Shantiel and Tonaltiel and Dantam and Lamtam are male and female couples. Men and women, Etin, Din are male and female. Both masters, master teachers. So remember this for our journeys. I'm going to begin these tones. Let's make sure I have sound on for musicians. Yes, I do. So I'm going to begin these tones. Do them with me. I will do them out loud. You will hear it. And then do it inside silently. You'll find that you have perfect singing voices as Atmas. You produce perfect tones, not using vocal cords. And it's the tones you send out that carry information. For instance, if I send out a tone, a visual hologram that says, I want to go to Satnam's palace in the Atma plane, then the omnipresent energy out there in space takes us there. Or it just instantly transports us there. But we first have to be able to visualize where we want to go, or it won't do anything. It won't take you anywhere. So consciousness as an Atma, and the use of higher faculties to see and know what things look like and where they are out in the multidimensional universe is the key to freedom. We have to be aware of what these places are like, or we cannot return to them on our own. Earth people are completely numb and unconscious about all this because they're not taught to look out beyond Earth growing up. And yet, most of the people on Earth want to see feature films about outer space. Most of the biggest budgeted feature films, the most successful films on the planet in 50 years, without exception, 80% of them are about outer space, one way or another. There's that much interest in people unconsciously in knowing what's out there. Disclosure for the first time has begun in the U.S. officially to unclassify the classified. This is being orchestrated from outside of Earth. It is not being decided by world leaders who still function from fear. That fear has to be suspended in them in order for them to make common sense decisions. This is being done now, and not just by them. This is being done to avoid a nuclear war. It would have already had wiped out all life here had it not been done If there had not been any influences from the greater God outside of Earth, no one would be alive. Well, nothing would be alive on this planet right now. And it wouldn't be the first time that's happened on this planet. The planet's been around for an estimated 4 billion years. It's actually older than that. Human life in our form has been able to be brought here for 65 million years, since the big dinosaurs were made extinct. This wakes up in you a hidden history that's not taught to people in schools on Earth, because it's suppressed awareness. So this awareness in part is waking up in you through this work, because this work was designed off-world to be brought to Earth to do what it's doing now. It was not designed on this planet. It could not have been designed on this planet. By me, by myself, my little brain I grew up with in this life? No. I had to create that with many others as an Atma outside of Earth's atmosphere and bring it here. It's the only way it could be done. And now you're becoming aware of all of these great possibilities and potentials in yourselves. I begin the hues now. Do them with me. You. We send out a sixth one to carry us through the void and into Satnam's realm above the void. Each tone connects to one of the dimensions in the lower dimensions of time and space, but it does it by bypassing, stopping off in them. When you're above your body and your home where you live, looking down on your body in the trance state called sleep, it's just as simple as you looking to go to the grocery store. It isn't your brain that visualizes anything. That is not the purpose of the human brain. That is taught wrongly to everybody on Earth, in ignorance and in fear. People try to teach people on theory only that their imagination is made up in some part of their brain. It is not. There's no brain cells on one part of your head that project a motion picture image on a movie screen on the other side of your brains. That's pretty silly if you think about it, isn't it? So what or who is actually visualizing where you need to go before you make your body go there? Well, that's you. The spherical, round energy being people on Earth call soul, without knowing the first thing about it or what it looks like. And if you don't know what that is, you can't change anything on Earth. It's impossible. Because change comes from going beyond Earth into the pure hue and bringing it back to Earth. There is no other way to do it. Shantial and Tonaltial and Dantam and Lamtam are standing behind you too. Other master teachers are standing behind Pari and me today. Shantial and Tonaltial are behind Quan, and Dantam and Lamtam are behind V. They're equally as masterful and equally as experienced. They have left their physical bodies on the Emerald Star Cruiser stationed in the ice rings that circle the planet Saturn, big gas giant, in our solar system. And it is permanently stationed there for now. For them to go on this journey into and above the void, they have to leave their bodies in the sleep state just like we do. No different. They're fully conscious of it. You're becoming more conscious of it. They do not grow up on planets learning fear. They do not have subconscious minds, so they have a great advantage over us. And this is why they must be the ones who assist us to get free on this planet, because they aren't trapped in it like we are. This is important to understand this. You are up near the ceiling looking at your body, but these two beings are hovering to each side of you. You are a round spherical being, looks just like the front cover of the Emerald Doorway book. When Caleb and Melina and Etta by Master Ramu are introduced to the Ancient One itself, comes through an interdimensional doorway from above Satnam's realm to visit with them, but they look the same on a smaller scale, hovering above their heads, and they don't even know it at that point when Ramu introduces them to the source behind all life. This was a rare thing that happened 100,000 years ago. You might wonder where I got this image. How was it created? How was it brought to Earth? It was something I knew for millions of years and something I knew 100,000 years ago, but not as well as I know it now. So I was able to put it on the front cover of a book. Original artwork created to be precise, so people could remember what they look like and what they are, because people on Earth don't have a clue about this to save their lives. Not a clue. They have belief and faith, and that's fine, but that's all they have. They live and grow old and die knowing just that and no more. Fear projects them back to lives on Earth with no memory. Fear does that. So we want to let go of fear, drop it like a lead brick forever. Be done with it. Cast it aside. There's where your karma goes away. There's where reincarnation in bodies unconscious goes away permanently. The U expansion ray from Source works only one way, and the way it works through us is permanent. It's not fickle. It doesn't change its mind. It's not whimsical. It only works the way it works, and we learn how to cooperate with it if we want to become conscious, trustworthy co-creators with the source behind all life. This is established right now when you're out of your body, above your body on Earth, before we even go on the journey. Why? Because it's bringing that kind of awareness down through the Atma you are, assisted by this galactic alliance couple, and right down into your body and out through the aura around it. Big spherical electromagnetic field, colorful with many layers. And it goes out through the wall of your home and into Earth's atmosphere, because the U expansion ray will not work with you selfishly. We have to cooperate for it to come through us for our benefit, but also agree to allow it to come through us for the benefit of others. That is the way this really works. Knowing that alone puts you light years ahead of the rest of the people on Earth. Just knowing that. And you will never forget it. You know that we're supposed to have photographic memories, and we do, each one of us. How many of you have access to it? Very few on the entire planet. Those that do accidentally have access to it, but they don't know anything more than that. The energy coming down through the ceiling is like a soft rain of very tiny golden teardrops of light, each one containing a certain power from Source. It's not a power you can control or hold in your hands. It's an omnipresent, living, conscious energy we're also made of that passes through the core of our being and out through the walls of your home. The transformation of life on Earth must occur by your participation in it. At least a few people on Earth have to do this. It is required. This brings about the awareness through you to other people to be responsible for the life they abuse every day, to stop abusing themselves and each other, and to wake up to who they are and what their true purpose is for being alive and running a body on Earth. It's to be a custodian and caretaker of the planet and everything on it. People are not doing any of that. They're doing exactly backwards, the opposite of that. That's only destructive. So we need to wake this up in ourselves, become natural and normal again as Atmas, running bodies, not the other way around. The energy coming through the ceiling, as you know, is brightening, and then you find yourself projected instantly out in space. You can see all the way down through the atmosphere, right through the roof of your home, and you can see you're still hovering near the ceiling. They're still hovering beside you. All three of you projecting, standing in the air, a perfect human, male or female form. About 36, flawlessly beautiful if you're a woman, perfectly handsome if you're a man. This is a prototype image that we used to show each other before human beings in body forms on any levels were even made, even before there was an etheric body on the etheric plane. So this prototype existed before there were DNA bodies of any kind. Think about that. The original prototype example was Satnam himself. And then you begin to understand how this works and who he is. Because he's not taught to people on Earth. They pray to beings that run whole planes below the void, and they cannot be trusted because they don't operate to set anybody free. It's not their purpose. At least it wasn't until recently. Now it's becoming their purpose. They're changing. Silent mentors surround all 4 silent mentors surround each one of them. So what we call the old failed experiment of good and evil is being retired and replaced with the Hue expansion ray and what it does and what it intends to accomplish for the first time in the lower planes of time and space, which were designed originally by all of our agreement to be mirrors of the upper worlds. We never succeeded at that, failed miserably at it. Every one of us. It's time we started creating contributions back to Satnam and above the void, because that's what we were supposed to be doing, going back and sharing our experiences and oversight of running bodies in the lower worlds. We were never meant to be trapped in them. So this work is unique on Earth because it reverses that process. It begins to help you co-creatively reverse that process. In space, you're standing in a circle of beings. Pari's to my left. Kwan's further to our left. V is to my right, and beyond him is Master Opelum. And beyond Kwan is Master Ramu, closer to Earth. Light C is standing further up in space. We'll get to that. The 2 beings from the Galactic Alliance, there are a total of 8. 2 standing beside Pari and myself. I'm opposite Ramu, really close, but Opelum is really directly opposite. And there are other beings, master teachers who teach in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, standing in the circle in other places, men and women. I've never introduced you to them. They just teach up there, so you probably meet them when you go out of your body at night and learn something new in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, where no negative nature exists. Now we're going there, of course we are, on this journey. Because when we go into and above the void, we cannot bring any unconscious nature, any subconscious nature, any fear, any negative emotion, or negative imagination with us. It's kept turned off by these Galactic Alliance masterful beings for your benefit while you go on the journey. In this way, we can bring back to our bodies on Earth an energy that you can't get any other way other than going back to source and getting it and bringing it back to Earth. And let it run through your body on Earth to enlighten it, make the brain smarter, use more of your brain. Instead of 5 to 10%, which makes us basically morons, we start using 50, 60, 70, 80% or more. It's separate from having a photographic memory. Most people don't use but a small percentage of the brain they have. That's not normal or natural. That's what was done to people on Earth a long time ago, and it's been forced to be passed on genetically. So certain genomes on the DNA are just shut off. The science of turning them on is an ancient science. It is not new. To have that done, we got to get the help from the Galactic Alliance. They're medical people, they're scientific people who know how to free a person from subconscious trauma. That subconscious trauma exists as an illusion around us and existed before we were ever brought to this planet. It's bigger than just removing implants and engrams and that kind of thing. The primary implants, secondary implants, when they're gone, Open up the door to remove fear altogether that you've picked up over billions of lives on many dimensional levels. The intent is that fear is an artificially created emotion implanted in people at the beginning. We all agreed to this, stupidly, I must say, or naively. And of course, it ended up trapping people because they started to look at fear as a genius because it was so easy to trick them up. But it's not a genius. It's a distorted real faculty of truth. It's a distorted faculty of the Atma, twisted. And that is what's being straightened out. The light of the hue expansion ray in space around us out here is a white golden light everywhere. It has a deep humming sound like gentle thunder rumbling. No lightning, it's not frightening. It is the sound and light that the hue makes in the physical universe outside of Earth, in space. So the space itself is making this sound and has that light to it. As Atmas, we see it clearly, easily. Human eyes only see a tiny fraction of the spectrum of light that comes into Earth's atmosphere. They don't see much more. So we let the body stay in the trance state, and then we look and see things as we're supposed to, as the Atma. Up above, Master Turelian, who is standing 18 feet tall, you know what he looks like. A big Atma hovering above him, bigger than us, more like a silent mentor, really. Little different, not quite as evolved as they are, but he's pretty close. And then above him is Etendin, Drens from the planet Oceania, where Master Pelham comes from. Cute as the dickens, courageous to a fault. I have loved them and been friends with them for over 100,000 years. Now they are master teachers. They aren't even human. They have silica-based bodies, like grains of sand on the beach. Silica, quartz. DNA structure, not carbon, like humans. And so they're able to set up a charge around their tail. They evolved with the ability to fly through the air using an anti-gravitic energy envelope they generate in the length of their tail. First and only organic creature I know of that can do this. They're true, honest, endearing, courageous, everything humans aren't on Earth. They exemplify the finest qualities of a human being mastered, so they serve as great examples for us. They're hovering up there, standing above Satnam, with on their hind legs, big toe, little toes, big thumb, little fingers, just like a human, pale green bodies, not wet, not moist like a salamander, big bulbous blue eyes, long snout. When their mouths are closed, they look like they're amused about something. Atmas above them are brighter than us, same size, same way, but they have all their faculties turned on. So they serve as master teachers that are not human to help us get over our bigotry and bias and prejudice about life beyond Earth. Because all the races on Earth that you're represented on Earth never evolved on the planet, not one. They all came from different parts of the galaxy. Caucasian from one area, they call Nordics. Asian from different areas, different planetary systems. African American. There's even a life on one of the moons of is it Saturn or Jupiter? I think it's Jupiter. But these are in parallel dimensions and higher frequencies. There's life in our solar system, but you can't see it with devices on Earth yet. They don't know about this. And they come from very far away in the galaxy. All the races on Earth evolve in a certain way as genetic, passed on generations to generations, but they did not originate in the form they have, evolved as they are on this planet. That makes you all extraterrestrial in origin, doesn't it? Because you are. No human being is native to planet Earth. Not one. It's a big eye-opener. There is no other work right now authorized to distribute this awareness and wake it up in people. Because it's the only work that's doing it. Nobody else knows it. or they're too afraid to know it. But you aren't. Up above it and Din is Light C, a little Asian guy, known as a faultless guardian. Now he's showing you a body form with his little maroon colored robe with esoteric symbols all over it, and his little round, kind of donut shaped, flat, round hat. A little Fu Manchu beard. Blue eyes, not brown or dark like most Asians. And this guy is showing you his etheric form. If you look closely, it'll turn transparent. Because he only has a form in the etheric plane, and as an Atma, he works across the void above Satnam's realm in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, inside that big pyramid where the tree of life is planted into the quartz floor. That's where he works. He was the first master teacher to volunteer to work there after I built it with many other masterful beings, silent mentors in particular, because they hold it in place. They are the mechanics of creation. They hold everything in place. The void, the different levels above the void, the different levels below the void, the interdimensional doorways or portals between all of them that exist in natural places throughout the multidimensional universe. It is the way the pure hue can be generated down through Agam Purusha to support all that's below it. That's the way it works. So in almost no time at all, you are made to become aware of what you once knew, the multidimensional nature of the universe. Not just the lower planes like astral and causal and mental and etheric, but the worlds above them, the realities in and beyond the void. We need that kind of energy to change consciousness on Earth, or it will not change. Because Earth's atmosphere of H2O and the water and oceans is depleted for the most part. There's not enough energy in Earth's atmosphere to wake people up. That's very unfortunate, because 8 billion people on this planet are supposed to be consciously allowing the hue to come through them to charge that water, so oceans and water systems glow. That's what they do on normal worlds out there in space. And up above Light C is Satnam. Who is he? What is he? Well, he is like, I wouldn't say the ruler like a king, because they don't think of themselves that way. But he is the Purusha, governor, you might say, of the entire Atma plane, the first celestial realm above the void, beyond it, above the void, not in it. And above that is the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, created in a special parallel dimension, held in place by silent mentors, between the top of Satnam's realm and the beginning of the bottom of the 6th realm. There's a governor running all of those all the way up to Agam Purusha's realm, where there's a massive tree of life with a transparent trunk we go into to give him permission to go up into Source or Prime Creator itself, where we originated, all of us. So we really originate from Source. Can't be destroyed. We're not made of matter or molecules or atoms. A nuclear hydrogen bomb could go off under you as an Atma, wouldn't even harm you at all. You're not made of matter. It can't blow you up. Up above Satnam, standing there with his little white tunic dress from his waist to his bare ankles, his strongly built chest, bronze skin, bald head, gold eyes, not yellow. Looks like he's from India, right? But he's not. 2 gold bracelets on each of his upper arms, which is his prototype form he chooses to show us. That's his choice. Above him is hovering a massive Atma. Brilliant. More colors than are in the spectrum of light in the lower universe. And above him is a vortex, huge, hourglass shape, whirling slowly clockwise, made of a white golden light, brighter than the light in space around us, standing around Ambassador Turelian. Turelian has his 2 thumbs up with closed fists. This light from this vortex is passing down through all these beings through him, through his hands, he's creating a transparent oval hull, like the hull of a spaceship, light around us. And that's so we travel together in a position around him, wherever we're going. Keep us all focused. So he serves as voluntary focus for these journeys. I do that too, but he's primary. He's way more evolved than I am. But we're brothers. He knows I respect them, and they know they respect me because of the work we're doing. The sound coming down through this opening, passing through Torellian's fists and into us, and out into space and down into Earth's atmosphere, is continuous. It's constant. It never stops. There is a blue-green, 2 layers really circling clockwise, a little slower, of looks like water, luminous water, circling this vortex. That is a shield between all the dimensions below the void, so that nothing but the pure energy of Source is passing through this vortex and through us. There's nothing of any negative nature in weaponry, reptilians, space races, people out of bodies, demons, or anything you might think of that can penetrate anywhere near or come anywhere close to what we're doing for any reason, because the hue expansion rays master over all. Your bodies on Earth are in sleep state. They're safe. You're actually running them with an energy beam, which is not a physical energy beam, through the pineal gland to keep it breathing, the heart working, blood pumping, and all that stuff. This is easy stuff. You put that body in automatic in a trance state every night when you go to sleep and leave. But because you weren't taught to bring back anything, or how, you don't. You have experience, but you don't bring it back to your life on Earth. That's the problem with Earth people. They're busted, broken, not working properly. Dysfunctional as atmas, you might say. No damage in the atma, just certain things aren't working. They're not turned on. The first place we want to go to together, when you look at Earth, you can see the polar ice caps. The barren moon does not turn on its axis as it orbits the Earth. It's broken, busted. It's not possible for it not to move in some way because the Earth's gravity and the suns and other planets would have it doing something. It does not move at all. That goes back into a history all of you have been made to forget. How did it get that way? Why doesn't it turn? People don't think the right questions on Earth because they don't think outside the box. They don't imagine and think and ask questions relative to the grander universe beyond Earth, or they would be more enlightened. The energy coming through the vortex has a sound of a single note of a flute very high up. It's playing a hauntingly beautiful melody. And it draws at your heartstrings. It pulls on the atma. It's a link between Source through the vortex, held in place by masterful beings. And now you're asked to send out the hue with me on many levels to add your co-creative free will into that vortex. And it's going to make it brighter. So you're going to co-create part of your journey beyond the lower worlds of time and space. This is how it really works. Can't be dumped on your head while you sit there doing nothing. You have to participate in your own enlightenment. My work is to help you see and know things again that don't exist on Earth, but also to see things that do, like the base in Mount Shasta. Or the way Earth looks in the third higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. It's not astral. There are levels to the physical universe. Then you watch the moon and the earth beyond it. Like a heat wave, it just changes, and now you see an earth that has no polar ice caps in the same place. With a moon, beautiful, green and blue, and little oceans and dome cities, and pyramids, turning on its axis with a full atmosphere, orbiting Earth. This is how Earth looks in the third higher parallel dimension. The Galactic Alliance craft and technology have access to this, and many others, before the astral plane even begins. So their craft are not functional in the ways people with their limited thinking think on Earth. They actually can travel between many world systems on many levels within the physical universe, in the parallel dimensions that make it up. Thinking and seeing this way expands your intelligence greatly, because you start to become intelligent and awake as an Atma, not a brain and a body with one personality. You grew up off on Earth in one lifetime. Let's say this lifetime can't teach anybody anything worth anything. And most of the things taught to people on Earth aren't worth much, because it doesn't help them get free or wake up to remember who they are. Earth is not a normal human planet. Bear that in mind. It is not yet. But it is now destined to be one, fortunately for us. Or we'd all be gone already. There wouldn't be any life on this planet. It'd be radioactive. When you look down at the southern point of this big continent from the left to the right hemisphere, no polar ice caps, beautiful luminous blue, slightly tinged green ocean surrounding this big continent from the left to the right hemisphere. It goes up almost below the North Pole and down just above the South Pole. There's another continent 2/3 its size centered over the equator. You can see right through the planet. Because you're an Atma, you can do this. That continent is still called Lemriel, or Mu, to this day. It is on a world with poles never flipped like they did on Earth. It was never broken up and sunk. The Atla continent on the other side is a colony continent. Very few people on this world. It's not polluted. It has no negative thoughts or emotions stored in the atoms or the atmosphere. It is a clean realm. The oceans and water systems glow because of it. You look down on this point above the South Pole, and there's an upward curved, half moon base shaped, glowing emerald green beach. As an Atma, you can zoom in on it and actually see it there. Miles wide, curved. Big jungle with luminous trees, big jungle trees. And then out in the ocean, which is calm, glowing a foot above the calm waves, is Turelian, standing up to his knees with his thumbs up. And each of you suddenly find yourself transported down to the planet. Your feet are wiggling your toes. This is your pure body form, of course. Not made of matter, but it's well dressed and looks like a flawless you at 36. And as you wiggle the toes in it, there's an energy comes up your legs, moves right up through this physical non-atomic form, which is made of energy. It goes up in the top of your head, pulls your head up smiling. You look up into the white core of your being, and it makes it brighter. And then it goes out to the green layer that you see on the front of the Emerald Doorway book, and turns on some of those memory faculties having to do with lives you've lived in the lower dimensions of time and space, which is what this green gift is for. In the beach, we're standing in a semicircle around Turelian, and in between us and Turelian is standing a couple. They are from a planet called Xian Tarnamon 1. They are a Xian Tarnamus race couple, 10 feet tall, ivory-colored skin, violet-colored eyes, radiant silver-like hair to their shoulders, looks like silver, well elegantly dressed in silken-type gowns. And when they move like swans. The woman has her two hands up, palms with a green light glowing around them. And then you realize she's charging that beach. The green sand and its little particles of emeralds, pure crystals, are glowing. They're silica-based too, and they glow. They're charged. And one of the little green sands is the man lifts his hand, and a little single particle lifts up off the sand and darts into the white core of your being. It goes out of the green layer, kind of charges things there. Now we're suddenly up above this planet looking down on the center of the continent around Touchstone. You see a huge Himalayan type mountain range centered about 2/3 of the entire continent. And we're going down to a specific place in a valley between a circle of 4 mountains. Springtime there all the time. There's a flat circular disc cliff ledge in front of a curved oval cave. Top of this mountain, no snow on it. Everything around it is like the Himalayas. And we find ourselves around Touchstone standing on this ledge, moving through this massive curved opening, like man-made. And we go inside. This is a place called Awaken, Shambhala, Shangri-La, whatever you want to call it. But it's not in the Himalayas on Earth. It's in another dimension through a doorway accessed through a cavern in the Himalayas on Earth. We find ourselves in a circle around Touchstone, surrounded by hundreds of monks in maroon robes from all over the galaxy. They're not all bald. They have long hair. Some are bald, like monks, men and women. Atmas hovering above them, and they're chanting. They're chanting a form of the hue. Your physical form that looks human is standing there, and the hue they're sending out is vibrating the light centers in that form. The hue is coming down through the ceiling of this mountain. Master Ramu is standing off to one side with these monks because he comes from here. Touchstone is standing in the center of the light, in the center coming down through him with all of us as guests. These monks are sitting cross-legged on the floor. They're deep in a channel of the hue for your benefit. It is reconditioning the physical form you present to each other and setting it up to recondition, according to your own efforts, the physical body you have on Earth. It prepares this so that you have more resilience to not allowing negative thoughts and feelings into you from the outside mass of people on Earth. Provide you with a certain protection that extraterrestrials are given before they come on missions to Earth, disguised, unseeable, unknown to people on Earth. So they could be walking into a restaurant dressed as a fine couple, and you wouldn't notice the difference, that they're not even from Earth. They might come to take a look at you and walk out. You would not know it unless they wanted you to know it. This is their way of protecting themselves from the untrustworthy and destructive nature of people on Earth who operate sudden movements from fear. So you're in a healing center here. And then we're in a circle around Touchstone, hovering above these monks, who simply stand up, place both hands over their chest, give a little nod, and we're gone. We are hovering above a single mountain now near the southern pole where we first started with the green beach. It's a tall single snow-crowned mountain in a tropical area surrounding it. Very unusual. The left side of the mountain down at the base is a clear, huge clear dome, completely clear, seamless. 2/3 of the way up the mountain on the left side is a cavern opening with a blue-green luminous waterfall cascading out the open, dropping thousands of feet, roaring, to disappear in the blue-green forest trees that surround this dome. It becomes a river, flows down through miles away and empties into that blue, slightly tinged, calm ocean right past the emerald green beach. Inside that dome, or now over it, are 3 golden-sided quartz-capped pyramids in the left third of it. surrounding a flat, lower to the ground, ivory-colored, elongated domed building. There's a semicircular mountain range around it with little waterfalls coming out of cavern openings, luminous, flowing out and emptying into a blue-green lake in this kind of in the center of this dome facility. The other 2/3 of the countryside is full of little ivory dome dwellings, little white stone pathways, and these eucalyptus trees glowing with broad spoon-shaped leaves. Birds with split tails, like the kind we find above Satnam's realm, are here in the physical universe. Rainbow-colored buddies fluttering out of the trees and coming down and hovering in front of each one of you, standing in a circle out on this tall lavender grass. These birds, one female and one male, with long V-shaped split tails, they're about 1 foot long, look like a blue jay with big blue eyes, twin sets of bird wings, an atma hovering above each one, hover in front of you, and they begin to sing the hue. It's a gift. Master Opelum also works here, and he's standing on the white path just beyond us with his right hand up. And he points to the waterfall, and we look up through the dome, and you see that there's an oval opening with semi-spherical domed white lights going down inside the mountain. That comes out in a base in the hollowed-out interior of Mount Shasta in Northern California, in our parallel dimension on Earth in the United States. It was built there in 1908. If it wasn't there, we'd all be dead. There'd be no life on this planet. And then we are in space around Turelian, looking at this higher parallel dimension Earth. We know that 2 things, silent mentors come there, the Say rays come there, not just Turelian. Galactic Alliance masterful beings work there to prepare the way to make Earth and the moon that's dead work again. They're using this as a prototype. You look up above you and you see this hourglass-shaped vortex, and now we're going to start to do the hues to go on the journey beyond the lower worlds. So this has guided you to some very pure locations within the physical universe that only benefit you. There's no negative nature in them at all. In the atmosphere of that Earth, there is no negative nature whatsoever. None. The sound of this flute, well, it kind of sounds like moving downward. It calls to us. It's a sound from the source itself. It sounds like women's voices, but it doesn't really sound like that either. Now we're going to send out the hue. Do them with me. And then we will project it up through that vortex and come out in the void, deep inside the brilliant cobalt blue light of the void, near the other end, by the beach in front of Satnam's realm. Remember, Satnam and 2 couples of silent mentors standing to each side of him are below the opening to this vortex. They alternate male-female, each one wearing a different full pastel gown, like gold and yellow and blue and green. Long hair to their shoulders, different colored skin, different colored hair, no facial features, just white light. Above it, an Atma 4 times larger than us, twice as many teardrop-shaped faculties, quite a bit brighter. And they're coming all the way to the physical universe, which they can go anywhere they want, to escort us with Satnam to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, which is the one and only place where we can mix things up with them. I'll begin those tones now. Do them with me. We are collectively charging our part into this vortex. It is part of what is required of us. A flash of light from Tyrolean's closed fist finds us all darting in this oval hull of a spaceship of light around us, straight up through the vortex. As we pass through the narrower section, we can see levels upon levels upon levels of galaxies, brighter each time and larger as we pass up through the lower planes of time and space. We come out the other end into the void, into the cobalt blue atmosphere, the luminous pale blue light. Doesn't appear to be anything here of any form. It is just the pure hue. We cannot bring any negative thoughts, subconscious minds, fears, or negative thoughts or emotions here. They are actually being kept turned off in the bodies you have in the astral, causal, mental, and etheric, all asleep right now, including the one on Earth, so that you, the Atma, can go on this journey. They're all fine. Don't worry about them. And then we suddenly approach a white, luminous, diamond-like beach. Stretches as far as you can see from the left to the right. It's made of small, pure, round, crystalline diamonds. Actually, it's made of something beyond diamonds, not carbon. It's something of the void energy itself. And part of Satnam's realm, kind of a mix. And the jungle behind this is massive trees of every known kind on Earth and many not known on Earth, glowing with transparent trunks and luminous leaves or needles. And we look down and find ourselves looking down at our toes, perfect toes by the way, wiggling in this diamond-like sand, glowing a foot above the sand of this Satnam realm, the Atma plane. Satnam's standing on the beach. We're in a semicircle around Tyrolean's offshore, up to his knees in this cobalt blue light, as if it was water from an ocean. But it isn't. He enjoys this. He grounds himself into the pure energy. And that's coming from above him and from the ocean through his closed fist with thumbs up. And then we benefit from it. That high, hauntingly beautiful melody is still drawing us upward. Satnam waves a hand. One of these little particles of diamonds go into our being in the white core above the form we have standing on the beach, right into the white core, and then makes a little white, subtle light glowing between all the colored layers of the Atma to the golden outer circumference of the field of energy that surrounds it. And then we're above the trees around Turelian, moving over the top of the jungle. We stop, and these birds with these V-shaped split tails we saw all the way down on Earth in the third higher parallel dimension come out of the trees, humming and hovering like a hummingbird. Two sets of bird wings, long V-shaped split tail. Millions of rainbow colors blended perfectly make up their feathers. Big blue eyes. They open their beaks, a male and a female, each hovering in front of each one of you, the four of us, and they begin to sing the hue with such spectacular beauty, perfect, flawless, human male and female type voices. And then you realize they're emanating this cobalt blue light. These are silent mentors charging the void. They do it constantly. Big spherical atmas hovering above these birds, 4 times bigger than us. And then they vanish into the trees. We're moving over toward a diagonal snow-covered bluestone mountain range in the distance. We stop to look down and we see a 100-foot in diameter white stone floor with a scalloped white fountain in the middle of it. Statue of Satnam standing there with his golden bracelets on his arms, a white golden shaft of light coming down into it, passing through his open palms with his fingers spread, held at his sides, flowing through his hands into the fountain, filling the bowl, dropping around it in a glistening, luminous golden white sheet, and vanishing in the ground behind a circular, flat stone white sitting seat with 12 scrolled, intricately carved legs. That vortex is one doorway to get to the Hue Expansionary Academy. The other one is near the mountain base. Long, crystalline, palatial estate, 2 big lapis lazuli blue pillars holding up a square roof, golden-sided with a quartz crown. Energies coming down through that quartz, passing into a blue stone quartz chair, polished rounded edges, no cushion. It's moving through it. It's up on a raised platform of a series of foot-thick glowing quartz steps. Constantly moving. I've never seen Satnam sit in it yet. And behind it is a triangular opening to the back side of this complex at the base of the mountains. We see a tall, much bigger fountain. It's 30 feet across, blue scalloped edges, has a Christmas tree shaped blue and green light. Looks like a fir tree, but it's light flowing up and down, and around it a cylindrical shaft of white golden light. That's another doorway, the one we're going through. We're instantly projected around Turelian, up into this light. We come out the other end to find ourselves in a more massively brilliant cobalt blue atmosphere or space. We see in single thing floating in the middle of this vast expanse. We can see the white golden light of the U operating behind this blue light. You can see this here. In the distance of this massive floating continent-sized landmass is a white diamond-like beach, much brighter than Satnam's realm. A blue-green wave curling, luminous to break on this beach, is flowing in a continuous breaking wave, circling the outside circumference of the entire landmass clockwise. It goes back to where it started and continues and never stops. Silent mentors run that wave. So this landmass is floating as a creation, a mock-up, a projection of beings who sustain it. In the center of this landmass are 6 snow-covered bluestone mountains circling a tower. The tower is a blue glass-like tower. We're suddenly above it, looking down into the hollowed circular space at the base of these mountains. There's a blue-green donut-shaped lake, luminous. It's moving clockwise, slowly, around this white disc-shaped island. This blue, smooth, glass-like transparent tower comes up, narrowing to a flattened oval area, an administration fountain with no statue of Satnam, and up to a minaret point, almost as tall as the peaks of the mountain. A shaft of white golden light, like a cylinder, is pouring down into it. at the base of this fountain, we're suddenly there inside the tower, on the white stone floor, looking at a pedestal 4 feet high, vertical, square rectangular edges polished smooth, like the blue lapis lazuli gold-laced pillars. And there, above it is a 4 foot in diameter blue glass-like sphere surrounding a cobalt blue radiant star. The energy from source is passing into the star and being transmitted down into the hollowed out interior of the entire U Expansion Ray Academy. Well, actually into Satnam's realm as well. And then we're suddenly up inside that fountain, in the middle of the shaft of light coming down into it, filling it. It's dropping around the edges like a glistening golden white sheet, dropping down the shaft of this tower into that star, and then it powers certain things. At the base of these mountains, when we go up and look down at them, you can see horseshoe-shaped white tunnels at the base, all around the outer circumference. White stone roadways extend all the way to the diamond-like beach through massive territories, lakes and rivers and mountains and all kinds of things, bigger than anything on earth. And to the right and left, every so often, is a clearing. And there is a teaching facility in each one down each roadway. We go up higher above the U Expansion Ray Academy and look out into the distance. We can see that offshore, out in this cobalt blue light, are clear domes on a white circular island, 12 of them surrounding the outside of the U Expansion Ray Academy. 3 golden pyramids are in the center, golden-sided quartz capped, and there's one of these blue scalloped-edged fountains in the center of the pyramids between them. There is a silent mentor hovering above a shaft of white golden light coming down to each one. These are individual silent mentor teaching facilities. They also have teaching facilities in the north, south, east, and west quadrants of the U Expansion Ray Academy. Where we're going today is up the northern road, offshore, and inside the clear dome on the white circular island that is a silent mentor teaching facility. And we're going to go up the shaft of light from it to Agam Purusha's realm. We're suddenly projected offshore as we find ourselves standing in a circle in the air around this fountain, which has this same Christmas tree-like blue-green light coming up and down inside it, and then a circular cylindrical shaft of light coming down into it. There's a silent mentor outside of it to each side, 1 male, 1 female, 1 blue gown, 1 green gown, long brown hair, long black hair, no facial features, great big four times bigger than us, Atma hovering above them. Now here's what's happening. There is a shaft, an individual shaft of white golden light coming down the fountain, but there's an individual one coming down to each one of them through the forms they show us, right through us as physical presentations, projections, perfect forms, and up into the white core of our being. Trillian is standing right up inside this fountain of light with a silent mentor to each side of him. That is coming down through him, through us, and into our being, and then it's going back the other way, right back through the silent mentors and back to source. And suddenly we are high above the U Expansion Ray Academy in a beam or a circular cylindrical shaft of light, moving up this shaft that comes down into this teaching facility. And we're suddenly projected many dimensions till we come out into a fiery realm so fiery, so violent. You're not harmed, it's not frightening. But the energy is raw, pure energy, unmanifested. It flows like a fiery light of every color of the rainbow. Disappears, comes out of the ground, there's no floor. And then a massive being, bigger than anybody we've seen, floats towards us out of this light. It's white, golden, all the colors of the rainbow, but more brilliant. This is Agam Purusha. He's telepathically telling all of us that we are welcome here. And we've been given permission to go up this tree of life. We're going to start seeing in the distance. And we're going to go up into the hue expansion ray at the source or prime creator. You see a tree appear in the distance out of this fiery light. The roots go into the ground in the fiery light. You can't see them. The top of the tree, which is like a silver golden tree with needles, goes beyond sight. The trunk is a massive trunk filled with luminous golden white light roaring up and down it. And then all of us in a group around Terrellian pass right through the needles, right through the branches, and each needle we see a planet, a place somewhere in the lower dimensions, represented here, including the realms below here, through the U Expansion Ray Academy, through Satnam's realm, and all the way down to Earth. The sound is a very high note of a flute. We are suddenly inside this shaft of the trunk of this tree, speeding upward at tremendous rate. We come out the other end to find ourselves moving rapidly towards what appears to be a massive, singular, silver golden galaxy turning on its axis in a much more brilliant cobalt blue light. As we approach this massive whatever it is, the sound becomes something that cannot be described in human terms. Individual beings sing, tonally sing and maintain all of creation through tones. Think about this. The first sound behind creation was a tone, the hue expansion ray, it's called now. And as we pass through the outer layers of what we think were stars, we realize that vast distances exist between them, and all of us in a group are passing effortlessly between them, and they are massive, luminous, spherical beings. And as we move towards the center, there's 1/3 area inside is hollow. There's a white, luminous island in the very center. Above it is hovering a spherical presence. Thousands of teardrop-shaped layers, colors you can't be described in human terms. This is what you would call source or prime creator. And we're drawn right through the teardrop-shaped faculties with great space between them like two stars in space. And then we're suddenly projected into the white core inside the very center. And we hear a deep, melodious baritone voice mixed with the celestial qualities of a feminine essence. Simply speak, welcome home, travelers. It takes courage to come this far. And here, you'll be given a gift of energy with no negative nature to take back with you to your lives on Earth, to enlighten them, to enlighten those forms that never got any of this experience growing up on that planet. We're going to change that planet permanently. Now you must return, so otherwise your physical bodies on Earth would perish. It's too far removed from the lower worlds. There's a flash of bright golden light around Terrellian. We're still in a circle around him, in the center of all this. And we find ourselves suddenly projected down to the bottom of the void below Satnam's realm, looking at a huge field like an aurora borealis, a barrier between the void and the top of the etheric plane. And then we're suddenly through it. And we are standing. Another flash of brilliant golden white light finds us all at the bottom of the void, as I said, swiftly moving down through the aurora borealis type of energy barrier to enter the highest part of the etheric realm, What are you squinting for there, Pari? It's not that hard to see. We see massive, transparent, luminous continents, thousands of them, hovering in cobalt blue radiance of the etheric plane. We instantly find ourselves standing on one of the continents upon golden glowing quartz-like steps that lead up to radiant pillars of a transparent mansion-like buildings. Satnam and Turelian instantly appeared beside your forms that are in the trance state called sleep here. Well-dressed, much more fine-looking body than anything below it, and the bodies are transparent here. They each send a blue beam of light on the tops of your heads, and your etheric forms open their radiant eyes. You each discover you are the Atma hovering above your etheric form, and this compels your etheric body to gaze upward beyond the void, and above it at Satnam, and above it to the U Expansion Ray Academy, then the Source itself. Now you are instantly standing on the luminous stone steps leading to the open circular doorway of individual homes that cannot be easily described in comparison to most wondrous mansions back on Earth. The materials are far more brilliant, with faceted gems of many colors embedded in the ivory white walls. Or in the mental plane. Your forms standing upright in blue and green, and they look like when these gowns move on you, they radiate light. Turelian and Satnam appear before you, send a beam of blue energy into you and compel that body to wake up, look up and see the etheric form, look down and see the causal body. And then we're suddenly in the causal plane. The spherical Atma you are is now hovering above your awakened mental body. This form is compelled to gaze downward beyond the causal body, from the mental body to the causal, and down to the astral. Satnam and Turelian instantly appear standing to each side of your well-dressed causal body, and they send this wave of energy through it, down to open the eyes of your astral body that is asleep. You're all instantly hovering above the astral body, standing on a half-circular ivory texture balcony extended from 3 geodesic-like home complexes. These radiant blue, green, and golden-like glass-like domed homes are built in clearings surrounded by massive, exotic, luminous jungle trees near the surrounding, glowing, calm, blue ocean waves. This ocean surrounds thousands of islands seen in every direction. Satnam and Turelian instantly appear standing to each side of your astral body to awaken it and compel it to gaze upward to see the causal body gazing awake back down at the awake astral body. And the astral body form is compelled to gaze down at your physical body on Earth that is still in the trance state called sleep. Then we all simply vanish to find ourselves floating near the ceiling of the homes where we live on Earth. The wondrous, kind Galactic Alliance couple hovering as the Atma above the body forms that look human, smile at you, and vanish. The gold-white light of the U expansion ray we brought back with us from the Source or Prime Creator is flowing down through the Atma you are and out through the walls of your home. It continues out into the huge charged depleted H2 on Earth's atmosphere and oceans to continue beginning to recharge them. Then it continues to 3 massive golden-sided quartz crown pyramids stationed on Earth right now. One in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, one in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, and one in the hollowed-out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas. The hue beams flow out of all 3 pyramids to join together into one more massive beam, flowing into a more massive pyramid stationed between 2 stable asteroids in the asteroid field that orbits the Sun between Mars and Jupiter. A large golden white beam is continuously being projected from a special fountain located inside this pyramid to the galactic core, or axis of the Milky Way galaxy, where it continues up into the golden white vortex at its center, all the way back to Source, or Prime Creator, where we just came from. Now we are back. Gaze down at your body, still in the trance state called sleep. Gently awaken it, and slowly open your eyes. Do you know why we're revisiting your bodies in the lower dimensions of time and space? How about you, Quan? Do you know why? Why we're doing that? We need to do it a lot because you need to wake those bodies up. You need to get them working with each other. And you don't even know them. And you're responsible for them. That doesn't make sense, does it? So that's why we do it. We do that most of the time on the Emerald Doorway journeys because you need the experience, lots of it. You need to ground this into your consciousness on Earth that doesn't know any of it. Does that make sense? Okay, now I will bring this recording to a close, and then we'll do some just questions and answers.